Seems like every YouTube channel in Vancouver is telling you the same thing. Crash, collapse, dead market. But if you look what the data is actually doing right now, not what the headlines are saying, something else is happening. Something quiet. The recovery in Vancouver housing may have already started. Insiders are starting to see it, retail doesn't. And by the time the news catches up, the best deals might already be gone. I'm going to walk you through the 5 signals I am watching. Not one of them is loud, not one of them is on the front page, but together they tell a story that changes how you should be looking at this market. My name is Dan J. Riley. I sell real estate in Metro Vancouver. I track this market every single day. I read the sales sheets, I read the developers' memos, I watch the deals coming through my brokerage. What I'm about to show you is the read on the data. Not a prediction, not a guarantee, just what I'm seeing on the ground. The Vancouver market feels dead right now. I get it. I feel it too. Listings are up, prices are down, buyers are scared, sellers are frustrated, but feelings and data are two completely different things. In every single major housing Vancouver reset in the last 20 years, 2008, 2018, even parts of 2013, they all felt the same at the bottom. Dead, loud, doom on every screen. That is what the bottom looks like. Not a bell ringing, silence. On June 18th, 2026, the federal government announced a $3.2 billion fund to buy 2,200 unsold condos in British Columbia. Read that again. The government is now the buyer. They are stepping in when developers can't sell. They are absorbing the inventory that has been sitting on the market for months. There is a real example already. Quarry Rock Developments, a builder in Port Coquitlam, had a building called the Met. It didn't sell. The federal government bought it for $11.6 million. They renamed it Livy. That is one project. There are dozens more in the pipeline. Here's what this actually means. When developers were panicking 6 months ago, they were slashing prices to move product. Now they don't have to because the government is the guaranteed buyer. That means the fire sales stop. The panic discounts stop. The floor under Vancouver condo prices, the federal government just built it. And I want to be clear on what this is and what it is not. This is not the government saying we're going to prop up prices. This is the government saying we cannot let developers go bankrupt at scale, because if the big builders go under, the next generation of housing supply stops. So the bailout is not really about condo owners, it's about protecting the builders. But the side effect is that condo prices stop bleeding. Watch which projects get the money next. I may be covering each one as they roll out. Signal number 2, the Bank of Canada has cut its rate 8 times in the last 2 years, sitting at 2.25% right now. That is the lowest it has been since 2022. And the bond market is already pricing in another cut in September. Here's what it does for a real buyer. 2 years ago, a 5-year fixed mortgage was almost 6%. Right now, you can lock in 3.49 to 3.79%, depending on your lender. A buyer who could not qualify at 6% can now qualify at 3.79. That is thousands of buyers who are locked out of this market who just got handed the key. And the mortgage renewals that everyone was warning about, the renewal cliff, it's easing, not getting worse. Fewer people are being forced to sell, fewer distressed listings hitting the market, and I want to show you the real math on this. A buyer who bought a $700,000 condo in 2020 at 1.69%, their monthly payment was about $2,700. When they renew it in 2025 at 5.44%, that same payment jumped to almost $4,200. That is a $1,500 per month shock for 5 more years. Now, that same renewal now at 3.79% comes in at about $3,200. Still higher than 2020, but $1,000 cheaper than the peak rate renewal. That is the difference between a family being forced to sell and a family being able to stay. Multiply that across 10,000 renewals, and you understand why the distressed seller wave is starting to fade. That is signal number 2. Signal number 3. This is buried in the Greater Vancouver Realtors report from May 2026. Total sales came in at 2,150. Yes, that is still below the 10-year average, but look at the trend. Sales were up 3.4% from the month before. Detached homes sales specifically up 6.1% month over month. Detached always leads. Every reset in Vancouver history, single-family detached homes bottom first. Condos follow 18 to 24 months later. And when I look at the deals coming through my brokerage, nobody is buying just because. Every buyer I'm talking to right now is a real motivated buyer. They did the math, they know the risks, they see the opening. Retail buyers are still on the sidelines, speculators are gone. People transacting are the ones who understand the value. That is what a bottom looks like too. Not zero activity, quiet activity, real hands changing. And one more thing on this, days on market for well-priced detached homes in Surrey, Langley, and East Vancouver are dropping. Under 30 days for anything that's priced right. That's not a market where inventory is piling up unused. That is a market where correctly priced product is clearing. Slower than 2021, faster than most people think. Sellers who price to the current market get sold. Sellers who price to 2022 sit for months. That is your third signal. Signal number 4, the federal foreign buyer ban is set to expire January 1st, 2027. It has not been renewed. It has not been extended. The current government has been signaling for months that it's going to sunset. Foreign capital has been locked out of Canadian real estate for 5 years, and it could be about to be allowed back in. Now, yes, BC has a 20% foreign buyer tax. Yes, the speculation and vacancy tax is still there. Those are still real friction. But foreign buyer capital is patient. It waits for the window, and a window may be about to open. Every historical Vancouver reset ended the same way. Foreign money came back in, prices reset. The people who bought during the quiet phase made the next decade of equity in 24 months. Smart money moves before the ban lifts, not after, because after the ban lifts, prices are not the same. Look at what happened the last time BC opened a foreign buyer window. Between 2013 and 2016, foreign capital poured into Vancouver. Detached home prices went up over 80% in 3 years. 80% in 36 months. And I'm not saying the same thing will happen again in this cycle. The BC foreign buyer tax is still in place. The rules are more strict, but foreign capital does not need to buy every property. It only needs to move 1% of the market to change the pricing story on the entire city. That is signal number 4. Signal number 5, this one is the biggest and the fewest people talk about it. Between 2020 and 2024, the BC government stacked policy after policy against buyers and owners. Speculation vacancy tax, property transfer tax, foreign buyer tax at 20%, empty homes tax at 3%, short-term rental restrictions. The message was clear. Housing is a hot potato. We're going to punish the investors. However, starting in 2025, the tone shifted, not because the government changed its mind, because the supply crisis got so bad, they had to change course. The Housing Statutes Amendment Act, transit-oriented development mandates near every SkyTrain station, bonus density rules that let developers build taller for less cost, C8 permit reform that speeds up approvals. That is a pro-supply playbook, not an anti-buyer one. And here's why it matters right now. When rates drop and demand comes back, which it will, you need supply on the way. The BC government is finally clearing the runway. More product will hit the market at lower interest rates. That's a recovery formula, not a crash formula. So let me tell you what I'm seeing on the ground right now. We are seeing a ton of deals getting processed right now. Nobody's bragging about it. Nobody's posting it on Instagram, but those deals are happening every single week in this market. And when I look at the historical pattern, 2008 to 2010, Vancouver prices dropped 15%, then recovered fully within 30 months. 2018 to 2020, Vancouver prices dropped 10%, then recovered fully within 24 months. The buyers who bought at the quiet bottom made 10 years of gains in 2 years. The buyers who waited for the all clear bought at the recovery peak every time. So here's my read. Almost every YouTube channel in Vancouver is running crash content right now. Every headline is doom. Every dinner conversation is negative. That is exactly what a bottom looks like. Nobody rings a bell when the recovery starts. Insiders start to see it because they're so close to the deals. Retail sees it 18 months later. By then, prices have already reset. I'm not telling you to run out and buy. I'm telling you to look at the data, look at the 5 signals, and ask yourself a question. If I wait for the news to tell me the recovery started, how much of it will already be over? So you might ask, what should we do next? If you're eyeing a specific Vancouver property, just shoot me a text at 604-288-7592. Send me the address, send me the MLS number. I can pull the comps, I can run the math. I can tell you straight if the deal is worth chasing or not. If you want to see the actual best deals on the market right now, I did build a list. Every property has been vetted by me. Real motivated sellers, real value. Or if you want a one-on-one to walk through your specific situation, just book on my calendar link below. We can spend 30 minutes and map out what might work best for you. Quick note, this video is general market commentary, not personalized financial or investment advice. For your specific situation, talk to a licensed professional before you make any move. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.